The principle that kings could not raise taxes without the consent of the governed stretched back to Magna Carta in 1215. Over time, this principle had evolved to mean taxes could only be raised by Parliament, a body Charles had resolved to do without. However, Charles still needed money if he was to carry on his war against Spain, and so he turned to increasingly unpopular methods. From 1630, the government decided that all gentlemen worth at least £40 per year who had been absent from the coronation had gravely insulted Charles and should be fined. This netted £170,000. The king also revived ancient forest laws, fining transgressors in special forest courts, and sold monopolies on the trade of certain domestic goods, driving up prices for consumers at a time of rising food prices, falling wages, and a trade slump. His most unpopular innovation, though, was an attempt to extend inland and make permanent the ship money levy, a charge traditionally only applied to coastal communities at a time of national emergency. Making matters worse, the religious liberties won during the Protestant Reformation seemed to also be threatened, with the King and William Laud attempting to reintroduce ceremony, statues and paintings, railed-off altars, and other traditional practices aimed at restoring what the Archbishop described as the beauty of holiness. For some, this signalled a much-feared return to Catholicism. Had Charles's three kingdoms remained at peace, it is possible his personal rule could have survived this simmering discontent. But a rebellion in Scotland over the imposition of a new prayer book forced the king to raise an army, an expense Charles could not meet alone. When Parliament was recalled, it wasted no time in criticising the king for its long absence. On the 17th of April 1640, John Pym spoke for 2 hours on the threat to liberties of Parliament, religion, and the law caused by personal rule. Frustrated, Charles dissolved Parliament just 3 weeks later. When defeat at the hands of the Scottish rebels forced him to summon Parliament again in September 1640, the newly returned House of Commons passed its Grand Remonstrance, a list of complaints about the years of personal rule. Relations between the Crown and Parliament deteriorated further. The personal rule may have been convenient for Charles in the short term, ridding himself of a body which he felt troubled the blessed harmony between us and our subjects. But in the long term, Charles had expended an even more precious commodity, the trust and goodwill of his people.